Hello everyone, today I just wanted to make a quick video of designing your own primer for qPCR. The reason I'm making this video is because I had a hard time finding a very basic simplified version of this on YouTube, so I thought now that I know it, I should probably make one. Again, as I said, this is just a basic information you need. Once you know these information, you can ask more questions within your lab members or comment below. Maybe I can answer or someone else can answer. Let's start. So there are two types of primers that you could use. These can be either Tacman or SYBR green. Tacman is very specific, so when we talk about designing our own primer, we're not talking about Tacman. We're only talking about SYBR green, which is less specific, and that's why we're able to make it our own. Whereas Tacman, you have to actually order it outside of your lab and they'll ship it to you. Now that we know that we're working with SYBR green, so let's start with the process. The first thing you want to do is to go on NCBI nucleotide. What you could do is actually just write that on Google and click on the first link or copy this link, whichever you like. It will bring you here. So it's NCBI nucleotide. For today, I'm gonna go over two genes that I'm interested in. The first gene is LDHA, and the species that I'm interested in is in horses. So when I'm typing this, I'm gonna write LDH and capital letters and horse. Then I'm gonna search, which is gonna bring me back to here. And then I'm gonna look through these things. I am looking for Equus, which means equine, which means horse, Cabalus, which is a subtype of Equus, but that's what I want. So if you're looking for a horse or a dog, make sure the subtype is correct. So talk about that with your supervisor potentially. So this is what I'm looking for. It's Equus cabalus, the gene of my interest, and it's an mRNA. So I am going to click on this. And it will bring me in this page with all the information. But from top here, you can see that it has something that's called FASTA. I want to click that. Once I click it, it brings me that sequence for that gene. So I'm going to copy this sequence. So we've done here. Go on NCBI nucleotide, find the gene of interest in the species of interest, copy the FASTA. Step 2, go on primer, blast, NCBI, and then paste that FASTA. So we are going here, primer, blast, NCBI or NIH, and then paste the FASTA. In here, we want to change a few little things. For the PCR product size, we want to make sure this is 250 max, because that will make it more specific and shorter. For number of primary to return, that's a good number. And for the organism, which is the most important part, again, type whatever organism you are interested in. And then get the primer. Normally, this part takes a while. So to speed up this process, I've already done it before. So it will bring you to this page. Again, LDHA, Equus cabalus. And then, even though it said to give us 10 primers, it only gave us 2 primers. So the next step is to go on blast N on NCBI and paste those primer. We're doing this because we want to make sure they're specific to that specific gene in that specific species. This is sort of a double checking our work. So you can't just say this is the best one. You have to go to the next part. So again, blast, and suit, and CBI. And here, I am going to copy the first primer, the forward primer, paste it here, reverse primer, paste it here. the next thing we want to do is to actually not put our species in the organism. We want to know how specific it is. And normally you would want to have it as highly similar sequence and then blast it. But because of my gene and my species, this often is not an option, as you can see. So what I can do is to go somewhat similar and then blast that. So this is what it will bring it to. And then I am going to see how specific it is. So as you can see, there are many multiple things. So the next thing we want to look for, now that we've done that, is to actually look for the criteria of what makes a good primer. To make it simpler, we have to make sure we have gone through all the 10 options of the primer and we have done this step for all of those 10 primers individually. What I suggest you do is to go through all of them and do that part, and then screenshot those sections with the forward and the reverse, so you have it in all in one place. So you can, at the end, go through each of them and check to see if they have those criteria or not. I think that's just simpler for me, but you can do however you like it. Now that we've done it, we want to make sure the e-value is to be closer to 1. On these, e-value closer to 1. So that's pretty good, and it's 100% matching. That's also good. And then out of those primers, we want to make sure the temperature is in the right place. For example, the temperature should be between 55 and 65. The GC content between 40 to 60%, and so on. So these are I've got these criteria just from searching criteria for a good primer, and I just wrote some of the important ones here just for myself so I can go through the checklist. So once you have all those options, go through this checklist and find the one that you like. Find the one that's the most suitable. Now let's try this gene, GLS. Again, I put GLS and capital letters horse. This is what it brings me. Notice that this time it says predicted, because if they don't know it, they just they're not sure about it. And there are many variations. So I'm going to click the first variation. Again, I'm going to copy. I can actually click FASTA here and go directly to that code. And then copy that code, paste it in the primer blast, and that's what I'm getting. So as you can see, primer 1 has everything here. And if you were wondering, the temperature, the GC percentage, they're all here. And the next thing I want to look at is the product on potentially unintended template. This is what we want to limit or at least minimize as much as we can. But if I scroll down, there's a lot of them, meaning this primer isn't good for me. If I keep going, even for second primer, it's the same. It's the same until primer 10. I have checked it. The next thing we can do is to actually click on the qPCR variation 2. When I do that, the variation 2, which is right here, you can actually see it. It's much better. Look at that. Way better. So I will be mostly using variation 2. And again, I'll copy paste everything, screenshot it, go through my checklist. The next thing that I was confused about, and I want to just put it out there for your information, is general troubleshooting when you're doing qPCR and what do you need to order. I found this very useful because now, sure, we have our primers. What else do we need to order for our qPCR? And Universal SYBR Green Quantitative PCR Protocol by Sigma was very good. As you can see, it will explain what SYBR Green is. If you scroll down, it will tell you what you need, the equipment, and so on. The protocol. The protocol could vary depending where you order, but at least the troubleshooting aspect could be the same. And what materials you need to order or at least find in your lab. I hope this helped. I was trying to make it simple as possible, so hopefully that worked. See you next time.